Should you write your child out of your will? Hi, I'm attorney Paul Deloughery, and let's talk about this. It's actually kind of a complicated question. So there are typically three reasons you would consider doing this. Consider disinheriting your child. Well, reason number one is if they've already received enough money, or they have enough money. Maybe they have a successful career already. Maybe they've received money from your spouse, or from their other parent or another family member, and dumping more money on them just doesn't seem like it would impact them as much as maybe you could impact something else. Like, maybe it makes more sense to donate money to the Salvation Army or Humane Society or something. So that would be one thing. Reason number two is if you just simply lack a relationship. You just don't have a good relationship with them. I've seen this. I mean, sad as it is, I don't have a good relationship with all my family members, and I get it. So maybe it just doesn't make sense. Again, maybe your heart is more in the place of helping another person, a close friend or some other relative, or whatever that is. Fine. Another reason is simply a conflict of values. Like maybe you have a disagreement about politics or religion, or the person's spouse, your child's spouse, just simply doesn't like you. And there's been bad words and bad actions, and you just can't see yourself giving money. It's almost like encouraging them, or rewarding them after they've said all kinds of nasty things about you. There's also the issue of, I don't know, if the child maybe has an addiction, giving money to that child would, could theoretically kill them. If you give them enough money where they can buy all the cocaine or heroin or whatever it is that they need, they could go on a big binge, and all you're doing is putting them in a worse position. So that, also would be a situation where you don't want to dump a bunch of money in their lap. Now, I would encourage you to do a couple of things though. One of these has to do with psychology, your own personal psychology, and another one has to do with looking at legal options, okay? So let's talk about the psychology part. I would encourage you not to make a decision based on pure emotions, okay? Like if you're making a decision based on, having a grudge or resentment, that's kind of like blowing dust in the wind at another person and thinking it's somehow going to affect them. Well, that's not the way it works. Here's the bottom line test. If it makes you feel good, like, deep down, you feel good about the decision and you're at peace with it, that's probably fine. I mean, any psychologist is going to say, if you're at peace and happy about your decision, fine. But if you're not at peace and you're not happy about it, then maybe it's time to think about some other option. Listen, there's no one-size-fits-all answer here. Let me tell you about my own personal story, though. So, my father, my biological father, for various reasons, was not in my life. I found out about him for the first time when I was 35 years old. We emailed back and forth. I tried to call him, but he would never answer the phone. So I wouldn't say we had a great relationship. And that went on just for like a couple of months maybe. And all he wanted to do was talk about investing and share political jokes. That's not where my head or heart was at the time. Like, I wanted to have a relationship with a father. And I think he was maybe hesitant for various reasons, because I hadn't been in his life, hesitant to reach out and bridge the gap and I guess welcome me with open arms. So he was just, he had a wall up, okay? And so that relationship just never, it never grew, unfortunately. After about 2 months, I'm 35 years old. After 2 months of us talking by email, I finally say, listen, I want to go beyond you telling me about your investing and talking about political jokes. And like, I want to get to know you as a person. And he actually stopped corresponding at that point. Like, he really didn't want to do that. We can go into why, but that was his thing. So I felt, I just felt empty. I wanted to have a relationship with my parent. And yes, I know, like, he had some crazy thoughts and different different things. We were never going to be best friends or anything, but he was still my father. I still wanted to have him in my life. Then fast forward to when I'm age 42, I get a phone call. He's in a nursing home. He wants to meet me for the first time. So I actually literally met my father for the first time. I mean, outside of when I was like a newborn. I met my father for the first time at age 42. 6 weeks later, he's in hospice. He dies. And the point here is that he never wrote me out. Like, he didn't have a will. He didn't have a trust. And that had some other bad implications that I'll go into in another video. But the fact is that I ended up getting his inheritance. Now, I wish he would have written something down about, like, what he wanted to see for me, or regrets, or his hopes for me, or anything like that. That would have just, really done me some good. I will say that if he had totally written me out, like, which he could have done, I guess I could have understood it, because we didn't really have a close relationship, but it still makes me feel good that he at least did nothing. He at least did nothing, and at least I inherited from him. That's a whole different story. What happened after I inherited money from him, I've talked about that in other videos and whatnot. But if there's any hope here, let me bring this home for a landing, okay? If there's any hope for you to somehow bridge the gap with your child, or somehow leave a positive impact, or like a blessing, do it as a blessing. Don't, I really would say, never do an inheritance as a curse. Like, never in your will say, screw you, son, you really hurt me, and so on and so on. That really doesn't belong in a document, okay? In my opinion, you're going to be gone, and you're leaving this person to live the rest of their lives with a one-sided relationship where you got the last word in, and then for the rest of their lives they're going to be saying, but I wish this, I'm sorry for that. That's not a good place to leave another person in. And I said I was going to bring this home for a landing. I'm sorry, it's a difficult topic. If there's any way you can do something where it's a blessing, or leaving the person with, somehow in a better position, or maybe have a positive final experience with you, I would just encourage you to do that. There's different ways of doing it. Okay, for the drug addict, well, that's pretty simple. You can leave the money in trust and say, you only get this money if you're clean, and if you do a clean test once a month, then you'll get a monthly allowance. But you have to also work, so you can do like a carrot and stick kind of thing, or I guess that's all carrots, isn't it? Anyway, so you're actually encouraging them to become a better person. For someone where you have just a pure difference of agreement over politics or religion or something like that, you can, maybe you just say, maybe it's just as simple as giving half when you die and half in 5 years or something, because no one stays the same, okay? this difference of opinion over politics or religion or whatever it is, you don't know that your child's going to be in that same position or married to the same person or have the same opinion about you when you die, or 5 years after you die, or 10 years after you die. You have no idea. I mean, we're all growing. You've grown. I would encourage you to just think about the possibilities. Don't make a emotional decision. Think about how you can use your, it's your last wish, okay? Your last will and testament is basically like your last wish. To leave a positive impact for future generations. And how can that positively impact your child and grandchildren and family in the future? Okay, so listen, if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to kind of brainstorm with you. This is kind of like a half legal question and a half psychological question. And frankly, like a estate planning lawyer can talk about how you can implement your wishes, but coming up with positive wishes, that may actually be something that you need to talk to a personal coach or a psychologist about. I hope this has somehow helped you. I know we kind of talked around in circles. There's no simple answer. So anyway, please like and subscribe this video. And let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to talk about anything else in future videos. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.